Hello, my dear friends. Myself, Devi Chakka from New Jersey, USA. I've been practicing meditation from past 18 years. I changed a lot and I got to know so many life science because of my practice and my meditation. So today, this is a wonderful opportunity to share my wisdom about this topic. And before going to this topic, I want to share one little my personal experience. When I was a kid, my mom is used to do lots of rituals, puja, and she's a very spiritual being. So, and I'm a great fan and follower of my mom, as like every kid do that. So she used to search for the truth. What is the ultimate truth? What is the life goal? Why we took this birth, and what we do really need to do in our life. So she's in that search. In that search, we used to go to every Swamiji's messages, and we used to go to some workshops, but our search is still going because we are not satisfied that what we are knowing from them. So in that journey, one of my mom's friend, Veera Jagadishwari Garu, she gave us a CD about Mukti Margam. We listened to that CD with our complete family, sit down and listen to that CD Mukti Margam by Brahmarshi Pitamaha Subhash Patriji. At that day, we have answers for all our questions. So we listened to that cassette again, and because it is almost 19 years back, there is no CDs, there is a cassette is there. So we listened to that audio almost 100 times. So it's wonderful knowledge, and there is answer for every question that we had in our mind. So that's where our spiritual journey started. Now, today, I'm going to share the same topic with you on my special day, my birthday. So I'm very glad to have this opportunity, and thank you so much for Inner Journey Group to give this opportunity to me. And let me share my screen. Yes, I'm one in my video. So, okay, thank you so much. So first, I'm going to take the topic way to salvation, the Mukti Margam, also called as Mukti Margam. So we all listen this word from childhood: salvation, mukti, moksham, enlightenment a lot. We listen to these words a lot, and we know this is the ultimate goal of our lives. But no one knows how to attain that, and there is no proper direction. What is the way to salvation? How to attain that? So we came to know this wonderful knowledge from Brahmarshi Pitamaha Subhash Patriji. So before going to this session, my heartful thanks and gratitude to my Guruji, Brahmarshi Pitamaha Subhash Patriji. So we also call salvation as liberation, enlightenment, nirvana, all which means the same, but it is the meaning is freedom. Liberation means freedom, enlightenment means freedom. But freedom from what? Freedom from all our own ignorance. Freedom from our grief. When you have an illness or disease in your body and have an ignorant mind with many limitations and misconceptions, when you have lack of clarity towards life and situation, that cause lot of grief. So we all have grief in our mind, in our lives. What is the cause of this grief? Because the freedom from that grief is enlightenment, is salvation. But what is the grief? We need to understand to come out of our grief, to get freedom from our grief, first we need to understand what is grief. And physically, illness is a grief, bodily illness, and so many limitations in our mind, misconceptions, pressures, tensions, anxieties, and these kind of limitations, and lack of clarity. We don't know, actually we don't have any physical limitations and mental limitations before coming to meditation, but we have these intellectual limitations, the clarity, lack of clarity. We don't know the truth, so we are in search of the truth. So lack of clarity itself create lot of grief in our lives. So that is the cause of our lives. Enlightenment means freedom from grief, freedom from all kinds of physical diseases, all kinds of negative emotions such as anger, jealous, shame, depression, stress, etc. Because of this, you will get a clear vision on what life is. So when we are suffering with grief and these diseases, depressions, jealous, we're dealing with all those things. We don't know what is the actual meaning of life, why we came here and everything. But when we get enlightenment, which means we come out of all our physical illness and mental limitations and getting clarity about life, then you are able to understand what is life, why we are here, what is the purpose, what we need to do really in this life. So we get all that clarity through that enlightenment to stepping out of all these limitations one by one. We get more clarity and we are able to spend more happy life. And this is the same thing said by so many great masters. I'll give you a couple of examples. The first one is Kapila Mahamuni. He said, Trivida Dukkha Atyanta Nivrittihi Atyanta Purushartaha. Trivida Dukkha, we have three kinds of dukkhas, three kinds of the grief. That is, one is physical illness, and second one is mental illness, that kind of limitations and misconceptions, and third is the lack of clarity in our intellect. So when you come out of all these things, that is what enlightenment said by Kapila Mahamuni. So we know in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna wrote lots of wisdom, and one of that word from Lord Krishna is Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. Traigunya Vishaya Veda, freedom from Trigunas as Tamo and Rajo and Sattva Guna blocks. We have mainly three gunas: Tamo Guna, Rajo Guna, and Sattva Guna. Tamo Guna blocks means physical illness. Rajo Guna blocks means that mental limitations. And Sattva Guna blocks means that lack of clarity in our intellect. So when you come out of these three limitations, so all physical illness under Tamoguna and mental illness under Rajoguna and blocks under intellectual. That's what I explained. So we know clearly now what is the grief and how many kinds of grief is there, like on physical and mental and intellectual level. And that is the only way to get salvation, to come out. We have to come out of all those kind of limitations and illness and misconceptions, ignorance. So how to come out or set ourselves free of our grief? We have to choose one way. There is one way to attain this. What is that way? Doing so is only way reach salvation. There is a saying of Jesus, seek ye the kingdom of God, then all else will added unto you. The kingdom of God is within you. Unless you become like a child, you are not able to enter in the kingdom of God. So the way of salvation, the way to enlightenment, the way to Mukti Margam is going within yourself, doing that inner journey into yourself, doing meditation. So how to do meditation? child means thoughtless state. A child is always in this present moment. Child didn't have any endless thoughts in their minds. So become like a kid means get that purity again by emptying our mind through meditation practice. Enter into yourself and seek the kingdom of God within yourself. That is the only way. Meditation is the way to get salvation. Meditation is the only way to attain that enlightenment. As we said, ignorance is the cause of grief. Now we will see how grief goes with our spiritual practices. We have to do some spiritual practices to come out of our limitations and ignorance. So let us have a look and focus on those spiritual practices now. So first is physical illness. Lack of cosmic energy causes blocks in our etheric body. Therefore, physical illness occurs. When you look into this picture, I put one picture here. Look at this red patches. Actually, all of our physical illnesses come from our etheric body patches. The lack of energy create misconceptions, ignorance will create some etheric patches in our etheric body. That etheric patches leads to physical illness and diseases. So that is where the root cause of our disease. It's not actually the virus, or it's not actually the bacteria, or anything, genes, or anything like that. We assume that that is the actual cause, but the actual cause is etheric patches that leads to the physical diseases. So when we meditate every day as much as possible, an abundance of cosmic energy will enter our etheric body. Look at this second picture. When you meditate from your Brahmarandra on top of your head, abundance of cosmic energy will enter into your etheric body. So when that etheric body enter into our, when that cosmic energy enter into our etheric body, that will cleanse and clear all those etheric patches, so that we can come out of all kinds of physical illness, from headache to cancer. No matter what kind of physical illness you are holding in your body, you are able to come out of all those illnesses through meditation, through this energy healing, because that is the root cause. You may take some medicines and you may take some alternative things to get rid temporarily from those illnesses, but again you will fall into that because the root cause is not cured. You have to clear that root cause from the etheric body. The meditation and taking that cosmic energy and cleansing all those patches is the only way to come out permanently from our physical diseases and illnesses. And the second is mental illness, that kind of misconceptions, anger, jealous, all those things. Through reading books and listening to great masters, we gradually understand the life science, how we attract situations through our own thoughts and feelings. Therefore, we can come out all kinds of mental illness like anger, jealous, hatred, low self-esteem, greed, ego, etc. So all mental illnesses are created by our own ignorance, our own misunderstandings and misconceptions. It is there are our own illusions that create so many misconceptions, that greed and the low self-esteem, anger, jealous. There is nothing to feel like that, but we are creating that self with our ignorance. But when you start reading the books and listening to masters, oh my God, my dear friends, you will came to know lot of things. You came to know how we are thinking our reality, through how we are creating our reality through our thinking, through our belief system, through our energies, and then we start taking responsibility. Before this book reading and listening to the masters, before this knowledge, we just ended up with that blaming and complaining. But when you start listening to masters, their experiences, and reading these books, we came to know ultimate truth, amazing truths, that knowledge, that wisdom will change your understanding and make you entirely a new being. So myself, I read a lot of books, more than my school books and college books. I read spiritual books. I spent a lot of time by reading books and listening to the masters. While I'm reading books, I got so many dreams with that author of the book, and so much of process happened within me. So every book will take you, and every experience you listen from the master will take you one step forward in your spiritual journey and make you little more better person, because a book and experience from a person is they're giving their essence. They're getting all those wisdom from undergoing so many situations, and from years together they practice, and their understanding, they're giving that essence through those experience, through that book. When you get into that knowledge, and when you take that knowledge, you don't need to undergo all that process to get that wisdom. So it's a shortcut to the enlightenment, listening to the masters and reading books. It will make you free from all your limitations, misconceptions, angry, jealous, all kind of these things, mental illnesses. So, and moving forward, we get lots of meditational experiences. So we get a lot of experiences through meditating and by listening to the masters and while reading books. We get lots of experiences in our spiritual journey, and we can reconnect with our inner wisdom, not only for outer wisdom. While you meditate, you can connect with your overself, and you're able to listen to your intuitions, and the clear cognizance will come. So you're able to understand by yourself what is right and what is wrong, and you will get clarity that what is your purpose of life. So let me read this and experience. So we are able to receive telepathic messages. We will listen to our intuitions. We come to know all the answers to our questions, and many other higher experiences together give you beautiful understanding. So we can come out of our intellectual illness. That intellectual illness is create barriers to move forward, because we don't know what to do. We don't have clarity. What is my life purpose, and how to behave, what to talk, what not to talk. So it will make us freeze in one situation and one particular state of life. But when you get that clarity through these messages, and from outside, from books and masters, from inside your inner messages, from your telepathic intuition messages, all together give you a wonderful clarity about your life. What to do, what not to do, what is my purpose, and you came to know everything, and that will give you clarity, and you come out of your intellectual illness. That so now we know what is enlightenment, to coming out of all those trivida dukkha's, the trivida, three kinds of griefs. Now, is there any levels in this enlightenment? Yes, of course, there is 3 levels in this enlightenment. In this process, you will get to get that Buddha state. Buddha is not a person. Buddha is a state of being. To attain that state of being, Buddha state of being, we need to go through these 3 levels. Let me explain these 3 levels. The first one is nirvana, and second one is parinirvana, and third one is mahaparinirvana. When you attain this mahaparinirvana state, then we are at that state of Buddha. So how to attain these 3 states? So let me explain, go through that. So when you attain first state of nirvana, you are called Arihat. First state of nirvana, when you attain that first state, nirvana, we called as Arihat. And when you attain second stage of enlightenment, you are called as Bodhisattva. And finally, when you attain third state of enlightenment, we are called Buddha. So our goal in this lifetime, our ultimate goal is attain that Buddha state. So when you start your own spiritual journey, first state we're going to attain is Arihant. Let's see what is Arihant. So these are the 3 steps to attain that state of Buddha. So when we come out of our own grief, we attain the first stage of salvation. So first stage of salvation, the Arihant state, when we come out of, you come out of all your physical illness, mental misconceptions and illness, and you get all clarity. So you will get this attain this first state of enlightenment, which is called Arihant. So you will become Arihant when you step out of these 3 levels of grief. So you, for yourself, you are an enlightened being. Okay. Then second stage, we come out of all our own ignorance, but people around us are still suffering with grief. By looking at their suffering, you don't feel really good. Then we'll start teaching and helping people around us to come out of their griefs. At this state, we become Bodhisattva. So first is we concentrate on our own grief, like our own illness, our own mental sickness, illness, our own lack of clarity. We focus on ourselves and we get all those things into our life. So you're happy, you come out of all your illness. Now, next to you, your siblings, your family members, and your neighbors, and your colleagues, and your immediate family. You look at all of them, and they are all suffering like you, but they don't know how to come out of that. You came to know by your own own research and by your own practice how to step out of that. But people next to you are suffering, still suffering. So we are not able to leave them like that, because our heart center will completely open, the unconditional love and that compassion will flow from our heart. When you get that first state, Arihant state, that compassion, love, you start feeling that oneness. When the person next to you, people next to you are suffering, how do you feel happy? So then we start teaching. We start teaching people next to you and around you and your immediate family, colleagues, your village and your state, like that. Wherever you are, how much you are able to reach, you're able to reach, you try to reach all those people and you start spreading meditation. Come on, why are you suffering with this disease? Come, let's do this meditation practice and read this book and listen to my experience. I did this and I come out of all these things. So please try this. We try to spread this awareness to the people around us. That is the second state of our enlightenment, which is called Bodhisattva state. And finally, and you and people around you are feeling well, but rest of the world still suffering with the pain and grief. You really don't feel good about that. Then you start teaching this knowledge to entire universe, entire world. You spend your entire life to teach and uplift the people all around the world. This stage, you attain the third stage of salvation and you called as Buddha. So we are not limiting ourselves to our immediate family, to our state, to our country, like that. We expand ourselves. We feel oneness. We want to travel around the world. We want to reach everyone, every community. And we are come out of all our limitations. Until we become Buddha, we take incarnations on earth. So until you reach this state, you're not out of that Janana Marana Chakra, life and death cycle. When you attain this Buddha state, then you are out of that life and death cycle. When you attain Mahaparinirvana, then only we are able to come out of this life and death cycle. A Buddha will live and work each and every second of his life to serve this world. So a Buddha will spend life like a Brahmarshi Subhash Patriji, Brahmarshi Pitamaha Subhash Patriji. Our Guruji is the great example how a Buddha lived his life. He dedicated his entire life, each and every minute of his life, to teach and uplift the entire world, serve this humanity through spreading this spiritual knowledge. Our journey starts with Arihant. First, we have to focus and practice to attain this state. First, we need to practice to come our own ignorance. Without a sincere effort, we are not able to come out of your ignorance. To attain all these three states, first we need to focus on that Arihant state. Without our own enlightenment, we are not able to spread that to the people around us. So first we need to focus on ourselves, how to become enlightened, how to become attain that Arihant state. One must show lots of patience and dedication to come out of these limitations. We have to show a lot of patience and dedication. We need that Shraddha, dedication towards our spiritual practice. You people, you have a lot of dedication towards your spiritual practices. That's why you enrolled to this program and you dedicated these 55 days and these many hours to this process. We need that kind of approach towards our own spiritual growth. Then only we are able to attain the first state of Arihant, that Arihant state. So again, there is 5 practices to achieve this state: meditation, reading books, and participating in spiritual talks. Try to spend time with masters and practicing awareness. So we have to do all these practices, masters. If you do meditate for 1 day and you are 10 days, again you just give a break, it won't work. You have to make this a part of your life. Just like you will have bath every day, you will change your dress every day, you eat every day. Just like that, you have to meditate every day. Make meditation a very important part in your life. Make it as a regular habit. And reading books, please read books at least 10 minutes, at least 15 minutes, 1 hour to 10 minutes to 1 hour. You have to spend with a book. Book is your best friend and it will help you like anything. While you're reading book, you align to that other energies and that higher energies, the wisdom, whatever wisdom in that book, you will align to that energies of wisdom. So you must spend reading book every day. And spiritual participating in spiritual talks. When someone sharing their experiences, you have to listen to their experiences. You have to listen to new topics. So there is endless wisdom. If you came to know about way of salvation, there is more knowledge about chakras. There is more knowledge about meditational experiences. There is more knowledge about. There is so much of knowledge. We have to listen and listen and listen again and again. We have to make it a part of our life and try to spend time with masters. When you have any senior masters and gurus, Acharya Sangacham, which is called Acharya Sangacham. When you have any senior and guru around you, when you have opportunity to meet them, take that opportunity and spend some time with their presence. That will help you like anything to go forward in your spiritual practices, in your spiritual path. And awareness, master, this is most important. We have to practice this awareness. Be aware while you do meditating, be aware while listening to the masters, be aware in each and every work that you do. This awareness with awareness, you are able to apply all that knowledge in your daily basis of life. Without awareness, you just listen, understand, but you're really not applying that into your life. When you practice awareness, you're able to apply that into your life so that result will come. With all these practices, we will experience the truth and start living according to that. We start living according to that, to that truth. Before, you may know the truth. You may know the wisdom of the soul knowledge, wisdom from so many masters, but you are not living in that. But when you practice all those 5 things, you started living in that. We know that I'm not only the body, I'm eternal being. You understand that. You experience that you are an eternal being. and we know how to talk, how not to talk. Our talking style will change completely. We don't talk any nonsense anymore. And what to eat, what not to eat. We come out of all that tamasika food like non-vegetarian, eggs, garlic, mushroom. We don't eat that food. We don't put that poison into our this temple. This our body is a temple. We don't want to put that poison into this temple. So we step out of all those bad kind of food, which is Rakshasa food, I may say demon food. So what is love and how to love unconditionally? We don't know what is love actually. We are stuck with some attachments and some needs. We thought that need and attachment is a love. But when you start your spiritual journey, then you experience what is really love and how to experience and spread and give that unconditional love to everyone. And how to think, how not to think, how to think. We think so much of nonsense in our brain. When we practice meditation and awareness, after that thinking, even after a few days of your practice, even you're not meditating, we don't meditate entire day, right? We meditate for 1 hour. Rest of those 23 hours, so you are able to be in that thoughtless state. You're able to think what you want and what is right. How to be in relationships, how to live in society, what need to expect. We don't need to grab other and occupy other person's life, and we don't put all our rules to other people. So we know how to deal with the people and how to be in relationships. And we came to know all these things naturally. This process, the way of process is very natural. We don't need to suffer or don't need to undergo any painful process. When you practice all these things, this change will come naturally and our lifestyle will change according to that knowledge. It's a wonderful journey, masters. In our second stage, you will start teaching all these practices to people. So you will suggest these practices to people all around you. And you make them meditate, suggest some books, and you will share your experiences. Your third stage, you start teaching entire world, irrespective of their culture, class, age, religion, nothing. You will just share this knowledge to everyone, and we will become detached from all those identities and love everyone equally. That is called oneness. We enter into that oneness field. You tell the truth in all situations with complete confidence. You're no more scared of speaking about spiritual experiences. Oh, when I say that I see the Baba in meditation, how people think about me. They may judge me. We have some limitations, the fears like that, but we come out of all those fears. We tell the truth with complete confidence. We leave our body according to our wish. This is the leading point to our next topic. We leave our body according to our wish. We don't live just like that. And we are able to declare our death date well before. We live each and every moment in our life with bliss. This is called enlightenment. Masters, actually, some annotations as the disabled. Okay. Actually, masters, there is some myths about enlightenment, that salvation, we can attain that salvation after our death. We are going to get that after our death. No, but that is not true. That is the biggest myth. We are able to attain enlightenment, salvation, with your lifestyle, not after your death. You have to attain that with your lifestyle, with right kind of deeds, speak and service, the nishkama karma. We have to practice all these things to attain enlightenment. It's not the thing that we will get after death. Most of the people think that salvation means to leave our house and family and live another life and have to visit other realms and get supernatural powers, but that it isn't. Doing the right things in your everyday life leads to enlightenment. So there is one wonderful saying, I may not, didn't remember exactly, but there is like, before an enlightenment, I used it to cut wood and chop water. And after enlightenment, I use it to cut wood and chop water. So there is no major changes, like you don't go, you don't leave your family, you don't become like a saint with that orange clothes and everything. You don't change your jobs and everything, but the lifestyle will change, the understanding will change, your talking style will change, and your knowing and taking responsibility towards your life will change. That changes enlightenment. You don't need to leave and run away to anywhere to get enlightenment. Eating vegetarian food is the way to salvation. Doing meditation is the way to salvation. And reading books is the way to salvation. Drinking lots of water, taking good care of our bodies is the way to salvation. So this is the way to salvation, not getting supernatural powers and become a completely different person and going into the trance while you are around everyone. That is not the enlightenment. There is so many myths about enlightenment, but it is not truth. Not eating anything when you are not hungry is way to salvation. Not talking nonsense and stopping people who are talking nonsense is the way to salvation. You have to stop them. When you talk then the people talk nonsense. And always telling the truth is going. Yes. Always telling the truth and going against lies is the salvation. We have to dare enough to tell the truth. No more. People may go against us. People may talk anything about us, but we don't care about that. And Jesus don't care about that crucifixion, because he don't care. He is dare enough to tell truth, no matter whatever happened. That is called enlightenment. We'll come out of our fears. So coming to our next topic, immortality, I'll try to cover this as much as early. So because I'm running out of time, I believe. Okay, we are all we are all immortal beings. There is no death for us because we are not bodies. So we are not bodies. As you change the old dusty dress and wear a new dress, the soul will leave this body and enter into another human body until the Mahaparinirvana state. So dying is not really dying. We are there. We are eternal being. There is no death for us. If you change your dress, is that mean that you're dying? No, it's not death. We are there forever. We are immortal beings by nature. One more possibility is, instead of taking many births, one can live in the same physical body as long as they want and attain salvation. So this is one more fact. It is completely beyond our understanding, and it is against to our belief system, but it is the ultimate truth. We don't need to leave this physical body. We have to sustain and we have to be in this physical body. We are able to live in this physical body as long as you want. And we have taking this process under the guidance of Mahavatar Babaji. He is the wonderful example. He didn't leave his body from thousands of years. He is continuing his body and he is doing all this work in one lifetime. So there is choice. We don't need to leave this body. We are able to be in this body as long as possible. If you masters choose this, we have a free will to choose which way we want to attain Mahaparinirvana. We have a choice. We don't need to die. We have to be, we have a choice to be in this body, live in this body and continue in this lifetime as long as you want. Another important thing, every meditator should know and understand everything is energy. So everything is energy. To understand this ultimate truth, myself, my body, it is looking like a matter, and this thumb blood, it is looking like a matter, but it is not matter. This is energy. even if look like and feel like a matter because of density and the vibration range, the frequency of energy, it may material, but it is energy. Everything is energy. And vibrating in lower level, if the energy vibrating lower level, you feel like that is a material, but it is energy. When that vibration and characteristics will change. Our physical body our physical body is created by the soul and have all those qualities in it. So you know that our soul is eternal, immortal, and with our astral body we are able to go through the walls and we are able to go wherever we want in no time. There is out, we are beyond the time and space and limitations. So this physical body is created by soul and have all those qualities, but it is vibrating in lower frequency. That's why we have these limitations. When we change this body frequency, when we make this Mamsapindam into Mantrapindam, the miracle body, that characteristics will change. Then we are able to use this body like a soul. We have that capabilities in this body. In this deha, this body is the wonderful tool. But we have to accept, open our mind and accept that and practice that. Then we are able to attain, because we have the very deep rooted belief that this about this body. To come out of that belief, we have to break that ignorant patterns and come out of all that limited thinking. And we have to understand the higher truth. We don't need to die after attaining our salvation. We are able to disappear with physical body, not only as long as you want, extending your physical life. You don't need to die after that. Once you're done with your purpose, you did everything whatever you want to do in this earth planet, then you are able to disappear from this body. We don't need to die. Many yogis did this, and Dattatreya Swami did this. This is called Adhirohana, attaining that immortality with physical body. And Sita Devi, Mata Sita is the great example for this. She never born from the physical body and she never died. She created herself as a small baby in a box. And after her lifetime, her purpose, and he's disappeared into that earth, Mother Earth. So she is the great example to this immortality. And Rama, Lord Rama did this, and Ramta, and many more masters are there, attain this state, and we are all able to attain this state. We are able to disappear like that with this physical body. We don't need to make this body die to leave this planet and go ahead. From childhood, we have seen many deaths and listened to a lot about physical death. All that experiences and knowledge gave you deep-rooted belief how to leave this physical body. But it's not ultimate truth. We are able to attain immortality without physical death. To attain this, we have to believe and intend for that. We are immortal beings. We need that intention. I have to achieve this. I have to attain this immortality. I want to choose this. When you have that strong intention, you are able to achieve that. That is not a wonder. That is our capability. There is some affirmations to help to attain this immortality. We have to say these affirmations to ourselves every day to come out of our deep-rooted beliefs and attain these days. I leave my body with my intention. I will declare my death date well before. I live in this physical body with complete health and prosperity till the end of the last moment of my life. I'll fulfill all my chores on this planet before I leave. I have complete freedom to choose which way to live, either dying or disappear from with this body. When you say these words every day to you, when you practice these affirmations, you are able to come out of that deep-rooted, limited thinking that we have to die with this body. Then we are able to attain this great immortality. So that is what today's topic, friends. And thank you so much for this opportunity. And I will end this session with one note that we came to know about 18 principles. And there is one more concept called 9 jewels. Navaratnalu, Dhyana Navaratnalu, 9 jewels, these two concepts, 18 principles and these 9 jewels are the shortcuts to attain this enlightenment and immortality. You just understand these two concepts really well. They sounds like, and they look like a simple things, but they are very important things. When you understand and follow these, the 9 jewels and 18 principles, you are able to attain that enlightenment state, Buddha state in this lifetime. Thank you so much.